So welcome to the new Reuben Hoar Library. I'm here with Littleton Library Director Sam Alvarez, and Sam, thank you for having us here today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Now, you opened a little bit later than you originally had planned. You ran into some of the same supply chain issues that all businesses we see are running into.
Right. We had issues with COVID, that supply chain issues. The shelving took a long time. The furniture took a long time, unfortunately. We were, as many of you may know, we were due to open back in August, but unfortunately, due to shelving and other supply issues, we couldn't open until November. But we're happy that we're here now and that most of what we ordered is here. We still have a few shelving that hasn't arrived yet, but it's nothing that interferes with our operation.
Now, as I recall, at the beginning of the construction here, it was originally going to open up a little bit later than August, too. So actually, construction was a little bit ahead of schedule?
Yes, fortunately, we had a great construction company and architects and OPM, and they were able to get us in here a few weeks earlier than expected. I think we were due in September, but the building ended up being done somewhere late August.
Okay. We're going to be going on a tour in a few minutes. Hopefully all of you have already been here. I haven't been downstairs yet, so that'll be new for me. Now, the new library feels a heck of a lot bigger than the old library. Mm-hmm. I can't help but notice all the windows, the chairs with workstation areas, and it's just the high ceilings give another open appearance to it.
Yeah, we really wanted it to be very open, very bright. If anyone was in the old library, they knows how dark it was. A lot of the systems were the building was never really meant to be a library. It was actually originally a school. So we just wanted to build a new building that really was open to the public, was bright. It took advantage of our location here on the slope. We are near the woods, so we wanted to feel like we're in the woods, and take advantage of that and create a lot of different seating areas and comfy workstations for patrons to come in and read a book or to work on their laptop, things like that. Now,
the footprint actually is larger. You have more square footage here?
Yes, our old building was about 15,000 square feet, and this building is 24,000-ish, about 24,500 square feet.
Okay, so it's a lot bigger.
Yeah, it's a lot bigger.
Yeah. Now, again, I haven't been downstairs yet, so I don't know how many books are down there. But of course, the old Reuben Hoar Library, you had a lot of books downstairs. Mm-hmm. But I want to get back to the books. To move all those books must have been a big task. How did all that work?
Right, so they're actually moving companies. That's their job. The company we used is actually called National Library Relocators, and this is something they do every few weeks. They have a group that come in, shelve the books in order, put them on carts to be moved, and then they move them to whatever location they're going to. So in our case, it was just across the parking lot, and then they put the books back on the shelf exactly in order. And other things like artwork or any furniture we may have brought over is also they take a lot of care to make sure it's all moved in a safe, easy way that protects the furniture.
But that all went pretty smoothly? There weren't any delays doing that? Or
No, there wasn't really any delays. Really what we were waiting for were the shelves. So everybody was ready to go. It was just waiting for the shelves to actually be up and in place.
I know one of your former employees here at the library was actually involved in the move from the old, where the Historical Society building is, to the old Reuben Hoar in the school building, and they had to physically, manually do it at that point. Right.
There were some things that the staff did move. It was things like small boxes or paperwork or other small things like that. But yeah, primarily it was done by the moving company. But yeah, it was definitely different from when we moved from the what's currently the Historical Society building. I don't think we could have done.
No, just the thought of doing that.
Yeah, it would have been crazy.
All right, so before we go on our tour, I want to briefly touch on Littleton's two former library sites. The town's first library building was the Houghton Memorial Building, located where Rogers Street joins Foster Street. By the way, as an aside, that area was the historical area of the town center back then. Now, that library opened in 1887, and through a business transaction, it was named after a local businessman, Reuben Hoar. In 1989, the Reuben Hoar Library moved from the Houghton Memorial Building to Shattuck Street. And now here we are. And we're all ready for the tour. So
Great.
let's do it.
Okay.
So we've just walked in to the new library. I've been here again several times, but never downstairs. But we'll do that later. Sam, what's over here?
So this is the new Friends book sale room. The Friends did a lot to help make this new library a possibility, and we created this room to help them to sell their books, to have an ongoing book sale. As you know, the Friends often hold book sales at least twice a year, but now they have this room so that they can sell books all throughout the year, and it's been pretty popular. Patrons can go in there while the library is open and browse what's available and purchase books if they so choose.
You probably have other folks who make donations as well.
Yes. So yeah, we have sometimes if people have books they want to donate, they go in there, or if we weed books, they often go in there as well.
Good. Can't get over how bright it is in here.
Yeah, it's great. So
we have the front desk, and then you have your general offices behind it.
right, this is a circulation desk where patrons can come and check out a book, or reserve a room, or reserve anything, talk to the staff if they have any kind of reference questions. And back there is the processing room where we cover the books and put barcodes on them and get them ready to go out to be borrowed and circulate. And behind that is my office, the assistant director's office, office coordinator's office, and a staff break room.
Oh, now you mentioned reserve a room, so let's go back to the area that you're referring to.
So back here, there are 4 quiet study rooms. Patrons can come and reserve the room for a few hours, and a lot of patrons use them as home offices or as a place to quietly study, prepare for a test. We get a lot of kids coming in. A lot of the teens come in and they use the rooms for studying or just for a place to hang out sometimes. There are TVs in there that you can hook up a computer to, your laptop to. So patrons often come in and they hook up their laptops to the screens and use those as monitors. Sometimes kids watch YouTube videos in there, or different things. So the room is available to use as long as the library is open.
It's a feature I would have loved to have had at the old library, a quiet room. In my case, I would be studying in there.
Right.
Now, you mentioned that you do need to reserve them. How far ahead of time do you need to reserve them? Or I guess it depends on what's available.
Yeah, it depends if it's available. Patrons come in and they come to the desk and reserve them the same day, and as long as it's available, we'll let them use them. You can also reserve the rooms online through our website. That's fine as well. You can reserve it up to a month out. So as long as the room's available, we don't mind if you use them.
Okay. Do you have the same reservation requirements with the computers as well here?
Nope, same thing. Computers, you can come in and just ask.
But you can do it online as well?
You can do it on. Actually, no. For the computers, you can just come in and ask at the desk.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And then this area is also, as you said, we have computer workstations here. We have printers, both in black and white and color. We have a scanner that you can use. Behind us right now is the nonfiction area. So these are all the books that used to be on the ground floor of the old library. Believe it or not, a lot of patrons didn't even know that ground floor existed. So it's getting a lot more use. It's great that it's up here on the same floor with everything else, and patrons can come and browse and do research. So this is all the nonfiction collection. So these are things like history books and biology, science books and art books and cooking books, all the stuff that's not fiction.
We are going to go from here now to the main part of the library where you have mainly nonfiction, but you also have a lot of seating areas with work tables as well.
Right.
And in addition to long benches. Yeah, look at that now.
Sure. Okay. So this area here is where we keep all our DVDs and books on CD. So it's a very popular area with our patrons. And then behind us, or in this direction, are staff recommendations, things like holiday books that we have. Back here, this large display.
These are the new books.
Right, these are all the brand new books, both fiction and nonfiction are over here. So on this side are all the fiction books. The opposite side are the nonfiction new books.
But this is what I really like, Sam. It's just so open. You can come and use a whole table, or you could just use one of the chairs over here.
Right.
Then you have your own work table.
Right. And behind us are the magazines and newspapers. Over here we have a puzzle table. Patrons actually love and come and do puzzles at the library. Or you can do a puzzle swap where you bring in a puzzle and you can take a box of puzzles with you. Like you said, we have nice reading areas. So back there's a reading area that looks over the sledding hill. All of these stacks are all of the fiction books. So we have sci-fi, mystery, and just general fiction over here, and large print.
Let's walk to the back.
Sure.
I want to show everyone the extension to. Don't you have a future connection where you might have an outside venue, an outside building, not a building, but just an area where you might have concerts and things like that?
So we do have a patio downstairs where we can hold outdoor venues. Obviously, we're not doing it right now because it's winter, but come the spring and summer, we might have outdoor activities on the patio.
Where's the actual physical connection to the middle school?
So there is a path that leads out through the patio, back through the back behind these trees.
Okay.
And then the middle school, you could probably see it. It's through the trees right there. The middle school's right there.
Okay.
So we have kids walking up the path and they just come in through the back door.
Yeah. And then come spring, there'll be people out on the patio. So
Right.
that'll be good. And this is the reading area that you mentioned. The newspaper periodical.
Right, so this is our reading area. You can come and have a seat and read a newspaper or read a magazine or a book, whatever you like, or you can just sit at one of the chairs and use your laptop.
Okay. All right, so we're only halfway there. We're going to go downstairs now to the other half of the library.
Okay.
Good. All right.
So I'm going to start with the local history room. So this is the ground floor of the building. Through here is the local history room. This is where we keep all of the rare books, local history of Littleton and the surrounding area. There's a table in here where you can come in and meet or study. So.
And at the old library, this was at the very back in the right-hand corner.
Right.
I remember going in there and looking up a couple of things.
Right, and because these books are so rare, they actually require special climate control. So something that the old library, that room, the old local history room was actually a lot warmer than it should be and not very good for these books. So we're glad to have a new room where the books can be in better environment that works for them and hopefully will last us another 30, 40 years.
Now, Mark Quarry is on the other end of this right now, and there are old yearbooks here.
Right.
So if you wanted to, you could go back to the mid-'60s and find out. You'd see Mark in his football uniform.
Oh, yeah.
For one thing. Okay.
So back here are just the boiler room, a storage room, staff areas that are not accessible by the patrons.
Okay, now I think I already know the answer, but no food or drink is allowed.
So normally we would, but because of the town mask mandate.
So you would be able to.
Normally we would have a coffee cart here and patrons to come. That was the idea of this space. It was a gallery space and a space for patrons to come and sit down and have a drink of coffee or something like that. But unfortunately, because of COVID and the mask mandate in town at the moment, we're not allowing patrons to do that.
Yeah.
but in the future, once hopefully the mask mandate is lifted, that's something
Okay.
patrons can do.
You know, I just thought of something. I made a big mistake. If you want to see Mark Corey in one of the yearbooks, it's the mid-'80s. Sorry about that, Mark.
Okay.
Now back here is just, it would just be a big function room.
Right. So in here is the large meeting room. It's called the Stewarts Room. And this room...
Have you had any occasion yet to use this?
Well, when we had our grand opening, we did have patrons
Yeah.
in here. We have patrons. We've had a lot of children's programs in here, such as a magician. I hope to hold a movie night in here. Behind those big doors is a large screen TV where we can show movies. LCTV has cameras in here so that we can have board meetings if they want. Yeah, the room's pretty big. It's actually you can
Really big.
Yeah, it can fit about 120 people if we really wanted to. And then the room is also dividable, so you can pull out these dividers and separate the room.
Oh, sure.
So that's another possibility. So if you want, we can have 2 separate rooms and 2 separate meetings at the same time. Patrons would either come in through the main door, or they can come in through that door there if they want to use this side of the room.
Good. Impressive. Very impressive.
And there's also a little kitchenette back here, a counter with a sink and a small fridge. Back there, there's another fridge and a sink and some cabinets.
It's going to be nice when you can really start to use it.
Right. So,
Sam, this is the patio that you mentioned.
Right.
Not accessible now, of course, but with the weather.
Right. Because of the weather, it's not accessible, but patrons can come in through here if they want.
Okay.
And that's back there is the little path we talked about where students can come up
Sure.
and walk.
So you can come in, you don't have to come in the front door.
No, we can unlock these doors
Okay.
and patrons can come in through here if they want.
The parking spaces are out front here, and you just come down steps
Right.
through the patio to come in here.
And so back here is another conference room called the Murray Conference Room. And patrons can also reserve this room if they would like. And so this room can fit about 20 to 30 people. And without the tables, it can actually fit even more than that. And yeah, so right now, Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts have been using the room. There's a mystery book club that meets in here. But yeah, anyone can reserve the room if they have a larger group and they can come in here. It's a nice quiet space. It's actually one of my most, I think it's my favorite room because of the wall color and everything. And the way you can look out into the woods there. It also has a TV that you can hook up and use as a monitor. Yeah, so it's a great little meeting space. And then in here is our brand new teen room space, which did not really exist before in the old library. So this is the room where we keep all of our teen books. So that's, age 12 to about 17. And so there's all the fiction and nonfiction books over here. There's quiet spaces for the teens to sit down and read, some computer workstations for them, some comic books and manga books are all here. And it's a great space for kids to come after school and read or
So
take
really,
a
you have
book.
a space for anyone in all of our different age groups.
Right,
Sure.
right. And then we'll go and take a
Go
look
in
at the
the-
children's room. So, children's room is probably one of our most popular departments in the library. It gets a lot of use, even in the old library. It was a very heavily used space, and now we have this new, beautiful children's room. So, back here is the children's librarian's office. This is where she has her own private space to do her work, her office work, to order any materials she might need. Over here is the children's room circulation desk. So this is where staff can meet with patrons and answer any questions or help them out. There's a self-checkout station where patrons can check out books.
Are there any organized kinds of classes for here too, or no?
Not yet, no. We probably would in the future. Over here are the children's desk computers. So kids can come and sit with their parents. That's why there are 2 chairs set up. So kids can sit with their parents and use the computers. Back here are all our children's board books and picture books and young reader sections. And over here is where we keep our new books. And then back there is our craft room. So you come in here, you can do a story time or some sort of craft that our children's staff comes up with. So this is a great space, something we really didn't have in the old library. Lots of storage, a sink, both for little kids and for adults. And yeah, it's been really great. We really appreciate everything the public did to help make this a possibility. And kids love it. It's always filled with kids, especially after school. And parents come in and they read with their children.
So you're seeing your attendance more here than the old library?
Yeah, we've seen a huge uptick in our attendance. A lot of patrons have come in to see the new library. They love the way it looks. Every time they come in, they're like, oh my God, this is amazing. They love it. Yeah, so we've seen a huge uptick in the amount of patrons coming through the doors.
Yeah, you know, when they first proposed the library and as they were going on in construction, I myself was wondering if there was going to be enough parking, and it looks like there is. There's a lot of parking out front.
Yeah,
on the front of the library.
Yeah, so this whole area they paved over and extended the parking lot. So I think there's another 25 parking spaces that they added on. So yeah, so it's
This was maybe added on after the initial construction.
Right, that it's
We're able to,
a 25 in addition to it's already behind the town hall.
sure.
Yep.
Okay. Well, great. Well, if you haven't been here, come on down.
Going down.
Sam, thank you so much for the tour.
Thank you.
And great place, and thanks so much for all that you've done. I know you contributed a lot during the construction. You had your weekly meetings, I believe, and there's a lot of input going on.
Right, we had weekly meetings with the OPM and the construction workers and the library trustees and the town department heads. It was a lot of work that went into making this a reality.
Great. Yeah. And here we are. Yeah. It's perfect.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for watching. Have a great day.